Hello, my name is Kian and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be discussing Azure Storage and exploring the different redundancy options available to us. So to better understand this, what we need to do is gain an understanding of what an Azure region is and what is an availability zone. So let's get started. So to put simply, an Azure region is a set of data centers that are connected through a dedicated low latency network. Availability zones is a unique physical location within an Azure region. So here we have the Azure region, and within that region, we do have different availability zones. Simply put, an availability zone is a data center, and these are all connected through a dedicated low latency network. Within availability zone, there could be one or more data centers. All right, so let's get a visual on this so to get a better understanding. Now we're going to head over to the Azure Global Infrastructure Map. So this gives us a map of all of Azure infrastructure all across the world. So what we're going to do is put our attention to the United States. So if we click here, we will get to see that the United States have a total of 9 regions, right? And as I mentioned, within these regions, there are availability zones. Not all regions support or have availability zones, but regions that do support have a minimum of 3 separate zones to ensure latency. All right. So now let's go over the different redundancy options available to us. So firstly, there is a local redundant storage. So we have the primary region. Local redundant storage replicates your data 3 times within a single data center in a primary region. So we do have the primary region, and we're in one single data center. The copy of your data center, well, not the copy of your data center, but the copy of your data, is replicated 3 times. So this is the lowest cost option with protection against server rack and drive failures. In the event a rack goes down, you still have 2 additional copies of your data. The second option here is zone-redundant storage. So zone-redundant storage replicates your Azure data synchronously across 3 availability zones in the primary regions. So we do have the primary regions. Keep in mind, availability zones in essence is a data centers. So a copy of your data resides in 3 different data centers in the primary region. So the third option here is geo-redundant storage. Geo-redundant storage copies your data synchronously 3 times within a single physical location in the primary region using LRS, local redundant storage. It then copies your data synchronously to a single physical location in the secondary region that is hundreds of miles away from the primary region. So now with geo-redundant, we have primary region and then we have a secondary region. So to give you a visual of this again, what we're going to do, say for example, you have data within the East US and you want that redundancy to be implemented, and you want your data to the West US as well, you're going to implement geo-redundant storage because it keeps a copy in one data center using LRS, so there's 3 copies, and it also keeps a copy in another region, 3 copies as well. So the other option here is geo-zone-redundant storage. Geo-zone-redundant storage combines the high availability provided by redundancy across availability zones with protection from regional outages provided by geo-replication. Data in the geo-zone-redundant storage account is copied across 3 availability zones in the primary region and is also replicated to a secondary geographic region for protection from regional disaster. So this is basically the same as geo-redundant storage in the sense that data is copied across regions. The difference is in the primary region for the geo-redundant storage, geo-zone-redundant storage, is that there is 3 copies across there are three different data centers. There's copies across three different data centers in the primary region, but in the secondary region, it uses local redundant storage where there is three copies of your data, but it resides only in one single data center. So that's the difference here. So now we went over and we gain an understanding of what is a region, what is an availability zone, and the different redundancy options available to us. So let's see what this look like. So firstly, we set the redundancy option at the storage account level. So just to give you an understanding of what a storage account is, a storage account contains all of your Azure storage data objects, including blobs, files, shares, queues, tables, and disks. The storage account provides a unique namespace for your Azure storage that is accessible from anywhere in the world over HTTP or HTTPS. Data in your storage account is durable and highly available, secure, and massively scalable. So I do have a couple of storage accounts here within my portal. So what I'm going to do is firstly show you where you would set or you would configure the redundancy option. So if I go to storage account and I go create storage account, when it comes, you scroll down and then you select the redundancy options. Here it gives you all the redundancy options which we just explored: the LRS, GRS, zone redundant, or if you want geo-zone-redundant storage. And it also give you the option to make read access to data available in the event of regional unavailability. So keep in mind, when you use geo-redundant storage, because the data is replicated to the secondary region asynchronously, the secondary region is often behind the primary region. If a failure happens in the primary region, it's likely that all writes to the primary will not yet being replicated to the secondary. So there's a delay there. So just keep that in mind. So I already created storage accounts. So let me go ahead and dive into the one I already created. In the overview on the replication, you will get to see what type of storage account this is, the redundancy that's configured. This is a local redundant storage. So keep in mind, if we go back here, a local redundant storage replicates the data 3 times within a single data center. So there's one data center, but my data is replicated 3 times on 3 different hosts, 3 different racks. Okay, so now if I do want to change this, if we go to data management and go to geo-replication, we see I only have a primary data center and it's located in the East US. Okay, so if I want to configure across region, what I would do is select the geo-redundant storage because this is across region. All right, so to configure that, what we want to do is go down to configurations and basically locate replication. We want to switch this from LRS to geo-redundant storage. And if we hit save here, so this will take a while to launch, but I just want to go over a few things. Keep in mind, we covered regions and availability zones. Regions or availability zones are in essence designed to help you achieve resiliency and reliability. So, if you look at the global infrastructure map here, if you set up geo-redundant, you have your data in the east and also in the west. All right, so while this loads, while this gets configured, I will pause the video and I will get back to you guys. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. So I did configure this particular storage account to be geo-redundant. So that means my data get copied across regions. So as you see here, if we go, I'm in the data replication, we do see now there is a primary and a secondary region available to me here. You can fail over, but as you see the message here, failover cannot yet be initiated because the initial data synchronization from the primary to the second is in progress, and that may take some time depending on how much data you actually have. And speaking of data, the data would reside on the containers, file shares, queue, or the tables. I do have some data in the containers here, and I do have a Word document within my container. You do have file share you can access as well and set up. I don't have anything in these, but this is just an example. And in my next video coming up, I will show you guys how to go about accessing your data within a storage account using Azure Storage Explorer. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you and have a great week. Thank you now. Take care. Bye.